Hey guys, what's up? Plastic Guy here, coming back with another figure review where today we're taking a look at the 2012 Playmates Ninja Turtles figures. So way back when I started the channel, I made a video taking a look at the 2003 Playmates Ninja Turtle figures, which were heavily played with and really outdated now. And then I never really revisited the Turtles until recently on the channel. I took a closer look at the newer NECA Ninja Turtle figures, which were insane, and they really got me back into the Turtles. Since then, I've been watching all the old movies, all the old shows, and yeah, I'm in full-on Turtle Mania mode. So I've been taking a look on eBay for more turtle figures I could pick up, and I came across these Playmates 2012 figures for like £5 each, and they are really cool figures. And now I've got all four turtles, I thought let's make a video on them. So before we take a closer look, let me know down in the comment section what your favourite iteration of the Turtles are, because watching all the shows and all the movies, I have to say my favourite depiction is in Batman vs the Ninja Turtles. I think there's such great versions of the characters, such a great film in general. Let me know what your favourite is down in the comment section. And while you're down there, if you could do me a massive favour, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, and let's not wait any longer. Let's take a closer look at the Turtles. And here are our Playmates Turtles as they have arrived loose from eBay, which has its downfalls because unfortunately these guys came with a really nice display base. It was a sewer cap that I think maybe said their individual turtle name as well as just saying Ninja Turtles on them, and that wasn't included with these guys, and they also are lacking their original weapons. I don't think any of these actually came with any weapons. The colours on these guys look fantastic. I was unsure if all of these guys were going to have the same shade of green, but each one has its own individual colour. Raphael looks the lightest, Donatello's kind of got his own colour going on, Leo's a bit darker, and then Mikey's even darker than that. So it would have been an easy choice just to paint these guys all the same shade of green, but I like how it is all different. They've each got their own letter on their belt, which is really nice, and then the belt's different on each one to cater for what weapon they use. And then of course you've got the different colours on the bandanas and straps around the arms and everything. Also, before we jump in and take a closer look, to give these guys a reference for height, I thought because they were Playmates, they were going to stand around the same height as my original Playmates figures as when I was a toy. If I were a toy. These guys are way bigger. These guys are standing so much taller than old Mikey here, missing his belt and everything, looking a little worse for wear, which is why I really wanted to pick these guys up, to be honest. These guys are actually standing around the same height as a 6-inch Marvel Legends figure. Comparing him to Leo there, Leo's just, yeah, I mean, it is pretty much the same height. So I'll get more into scale later on, but there is your reference for height on these guys. But yeah, let's take a closer look at Leo first. He was the second last one I picked up because I decided I was going to get all of these guys. I managed to pick both of these guys up first for £9, and I was like, I'm going to need the others. And I got Leo. So I really like the head sculpt here, really like the bandana, as I mentioned about the different shades of green. You know, I think this is a nice tone on here. I love the L on the belt. And, well, yeah, it was this one that came and his shell was actually completely off. It was still attached to the belt here, but the belt was unclipped on the front. It was hanging off and the whole shell was separate to the body. So I ended up managing to, I just shoved a load of super glue, which you can sort of see here, which is really unfortunate. That is sloppy from me. I just super glued the hell out of this. You can see it on this side as well, and on his butt. I didn't realise how bad a job I'd done, but I'd rather it be stuck on there than hanging loose. And it wasn't staying on just by doing the buckle, it had to be glued, but yeah, I could have done a better job for sure. So I just shoved a load of glue on this and then held it tight, and then I just stuck this back on the front, and it's held up for the time being. So that was annoying. Be wary if you are ordering these guys online. It might be the case that because it's a bit older now, it's about 10 years old, that the shell's off. And I'll be honest, the seller didn't package this one too great. I don't know if it was an issue in the post or whatever, but it can happen. Back to the figure though, good expression. I mean, each character does have a rather angry expression. Even Michelangelo is just kind of plain and basic. When Mikey's meant to be the fun one, I did think he would maybe have a better expression on his face. I like Raphael's. Even Donatello, like, he looks a bit violent and aggressive with his head sculpt, when I never got that impression from him. Of course, he is a badass still and he can fight, but he's meant to be the intelligent, smart one. I'd maybe just mix the head sculpt up a wee bit. This one's not bad for Leo at all. Just a wee side kind of growl or whatever you want to call that, but it does the trick. Love the look of the belt. You've got the blue pads at the side, which are really nice, and it doesn't really hinder articulation at all, which is great. You know, these things normally make the figure suffer a little, but it doesn't really hinder the figure at all, when we will look at articulation later. Leo has the sword holsters on the back of the shell here, but unfortunately he didn't come with his original swords, and I do have spare swords from the likes of Marvel Legends and actually the old Playmates Turtles, so I was just going to use the likes of this sword on Leo here, if I can just mess around with the fingers a little bit here. So here he is holding that sword, and it's not too bad. It is maybe a wee bit short. I would like that a bit longer, but you know, these are Playmate swords from the older TMNT figures that I have, and it will do the trick for Leo for the time being. I think the biggest problem I actually have with the weapons is when it comes to Donatello, because I don't actually have any like spare bow staffs lying around, and his weapon is something that I'm going to want to try and pick up sometime in the future. I've just noticed Donatello's got some mad side eye going on. At least Leo was looking kind of dead ahead. Leo's looking on, Donnie's looking off to the side, and that's a wee bit annoying. Kind of the same comments everyone was making about the new McFarlane Batman, but yeah, it's not too bad, especially for a cheaper figure anyway. He's got the opposite side grill. I keep on calling it a side grill. I'm just going to keep calling it that, I guess. The teeth actually don't look too bad. Purple bandana looks good. He's a darker shade than Leo, I would say. Yeah, definitely darker a wee bit. And then he's got the D on the belt here. Similar holster actually to Leo. It's going up round the same shoulder here. But instead of the sword holsters, he's got one for his bow staff. And yeah, I'm going to need to think of something. Very similar articulation. Well, it's probably the exact same articulation. And once again, I'll go over that later. But yeah, same articulation, similar accessories on the figure, just a different colour, different shade. I do like the toe articulation and everything on these figures. Once again, something I'll go over. And I've got a wee red scuff here. I wonder if that will come out later. Yeah, I mean, very similar, just slight differences. Great Turtles figure overall. And actually, I've got the Raphael NECA figure now. We took a closer look at Mikey and Leo that I picked up together on eBay. Took a closer look at them on the channel, and I've managed to pick up a Raphael recently. I've not managed to pick up a NECA Donatello, so I was adamant I was picking up a Donatello in the Playmates collection. So I'm glad to have this guy here, and I've got my eye open for a NECA Donnie in the future. So Donatello and Leo were similar in terms of their weapon holsters, how it went over the shoulder, and Mikey and Raph are definitely similar in their sculpt as well. You've kind of got the one just going around the waist. Says the R in the middle for Raph, obviously. There's nothing really on the back of the shell, but it is a nicely sculpted shell. I've not mentioned that yet. Do like the colour they've used as well. In fact, all the colours they've used for the green, for the bands and the bandanas and the holsters, the yellow letters and everything, it's great. I actually don't really have many complaints for these figures. He was missing his weapons again. Once again, this is an old Playmates for the older Raph figure I have. And these figures just look a lot better than the older Turtles. So yeah, these are my new Turtle figures to play around with. So all the weapons are going to these guys. Raph's head has a double grill, which I think is very fitting for Raph. As I mentioned, I'm not really buying into Mikey and Donatello's look. I mean, I suppose if they're about to, you know, jump into a fight, those are the faces they're going to pull, I presume. But yeah, Raph's is very believable. He's the angry guy, always in a fury, and the head sculpt matches that. Eyes looking up a wee bit, but, you know, it's better than the side eye in my opinion. The bandana looks pretty good there. And just, yeah, it's red and a lighter shade of green, as well as the difference in the holster, but articulation is all the same. And then we get Mikey, darker shade of green, and we get this really nice orange on the bandanas and the straps and everything. Great M on the belt there. However, I had a problem with this figure as well. I went to move the fingers around because the fingers are articulated, and one of them just completely snapped. I found all the fingers are really stiff in all these Turtles figures. Each one that I've picked up from different sellers, they're all the same. All the fingers are dead stiff to move around. And yeah, this one unfortunately snapped off, so I had to also glue that on. Lots of glue on these figures. My favourite thing about this one is the straps for the nunchucks on the back. I really like how they just both kind of fit in there. It looks great. Once again, these are older nunchucks from the earlier TMNT Playmates figures that I've gave to Mikey, and they do the trick really nicely. I really like how these look on this guy. But yeah, very similar to the others, different head sculpt, same articulation, different colour for the wristbands. I love these figures, yeah, they're great. Let's compare them to some other figures in the collection. So after I picked up those NECA Ninja Turtle figures, it really blasted me back into my Ninja Turtles mania. And I was watching all the original movies. I started watching the 2003 show again, which is unreal. It is so good. It still holds up. But one of my favourite things I watched was Batman vs. the Ninja Turtles. I highly recommend it if you've not seen it yet. It is great, and so I wanted to compare Leo and Mikey here next to a Batman, and we have the new McFarlane Dark Knight Returns Batman, and I actually do think these guys look really good next to one another. I'm going to have to remind myself on scale in the likes of Batman vs Ninja Turtles. I don't know if the Turtles were standing at the same height as Batman, if they were a wee bit smaller, or even if they were a wee bit bigger. I don't think they were bigger, and these guys are standing a wee bit smaller than Batman. I don't know if they're meant to be the same height. I do think these guys look good next to one another, but I wouldn't be surprised if they are meant to be around the same height as Batman, which means these guys would probably scale a wee bit better with a 6-inch figure. So speaking of, let's pull that retro Spider-Man back in. So here are our Turtles next to the 6-inch Marvel Legends retro carded Spider-Man, and as I mentioned earlier, they are standing around about the same height as this guy. Yeah, I do think they scale pretty well. They are a bit chunky, but they're the Turtles, so they're kind of meant to be. Yeah, I don't know. They kind of fit in well with both of the 7-inch scale Batman and this 6-inch Spider-Man. I don't know what scale they're meant to fit in with. I suppose it is the 6-inch scale, but they could go with both. And here is our new Leo and Mikey next to my childhood 2003 Playmate Ninja Turtle figures that are a little worse for wear. And these guys just look excellent. As I mentioned, I thought these guys were going to be a bit smaller, around about the same height as these figures here, just both being Playmates. But they're a lot bigger, but they are also a lot better. I am so happy with these figures. And yeah, they're a good upgrade for sure. These two are based on the Turtles from the 2003 show, and these are based on the original animated series. I would love to see some updated 2003 Turtle figures. I don't know if that's something that Playmates have dabbled in before. I've certainly not seen any, but I hope it's something they do in the future. If they had the articulation of these guys, but with a different sculpt resembling these guys, that would be my dream Turtle figures. And so I'll try and run over all the articulation on Mikey here. As you've seen, the sculpts are the exact same on each turtle. Just Leo and Donnie have a shoulder strap going up over here. That is the only difference. All the articulation is the same. So let's get to it. You can move the head up and down as well as around. It is pretty stiff moving it left and right, however, but you know, good range of movement in the head there. You can get the arm moving all the way up. That's great, and you can get it pretty far into the body. Some of these arrived with the shoulder joint here round the other way, and that did restrict it. Oh well, it is actually still moving far into the body, but yeah, some of them you couldn't get as far in, and I had to just switch the shoulder joint around, and I do believe it was in the right position, so yeah, that does look a wee bit further in. He's got an upper bicep swivel here, and he does have double jointed elbows, which isn't hindered too much by the pad here. I mean, it must hinder it a wee bit, but you still get a great range of movement. You can move the wrist around, and you do have individual finger articulation. However, because the fingers broke on me before, I am very wary of moving them around. Both of these are on the same bit of plastic going through the middle here, so they will both move down, and I do believe they move separately, so maybe they're not on the same bit of plastic, but I'm not going to do it because, as I've mentioned, they are extremely stiff, and I've had one snap off on me. If you get these figures, it's definitely something to look out for. As I mentioned, every single one of these that I've picked up has had the stiff fingers, so it is certainly a problem. Be wary. Same articulation in this arm here. You get this chest articulation, which is actually really good. It's a bit of an ab crunch. You can get it moving forwards and backwards, and it will also pivot around left and right. Nothing in the waist area, so over to the legs, you can get the leg kicking about that far out the way. They'll get in at the body about that much, so you're moving it, yeah, about that far out. About that far forward, not very far back. He's got an upper thigh cut, double jointed knees, which this pad definitely hinders it a bit more than the elbow one, but you can still get a good range of movement in there. As you can see, get the foot moving backwards and forwards. It will pivot a wee bit, but not too much, and then you get the individual toe articulation as well. So I am really impressed with the articulation on these guys. They are a lot of fun to pose around. And there we have it for our 2012 Playmates Ninja Turtle figures, and I absolutely love these guys. They are really cool. I mean, I just love the different shades of green on each one. The facial expressions are great. I do wish maybe Mikey was a bit more mischievous rather than, I don't know, the face he's got. I do wish that they also came with the original sewer caps and original weapons. That would really just make these guys, which of course, if you can pick these guys up, 100% do it. I mean, I think these guys are great, and I can't express it enough. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. While you're down there, guys, if you could do me a massive favour, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'll leave the link to my Instagram down in the description below, where I'll definitely be posting some pictures of these turtles up there very soon, so feel free to check that out, and feel free to hop on over to the channel page as well and check out any of my other videos. There are a couple of turtle videos up on there, but there is plenty of things to watch, so yeah, do me a favour and go check out some other videos. It would mean a lot. With all that being said, thank you so much for watching this video right here, and as always, I'll catch yous on the flip flop later. Cheers.